Welcome to the Sold Too Early Sports Card Podcast. No Kai, no problem. Except for one. Me. That's not Kai. I'm without parental consent. Yeah, Kai's on vacation right now. How dare that man go on vacation with his family and do fun things. So yeah, he's going to be out the next 2 weeks. I'm going to be out in mid to late June. So it's summer months here at the Soul to Early Podcast headquarters. How the hell are you guys doing? But yeah, we're back. A couple things going on in the sports card world, a couple things in my personal life as well. Started a new job, pretty exciting on day 2. So that's interesting. It's been it's a little bit different after 5.5 years of being in a role. While the opportunity to do cards full time is obviously very present in my mind, something I could obviously choose to do. If I was a single man, a little bit younger, maybe I'm 20. If I was still living at home, if I was like 22, 23-ish, fresh out of college, kind of like maybe someone like a Kai actually, who's a little bit younger, it would be much more interesting and flattering. I wouldn't have to worry about my bills as much or other expenses. I could truly lean into just sports cards full time in that instinct. But a little bit older, have a house, have a mortgage, have a wife, have Speedy, which is fully funded by sports cards, by the way. That is not touched by my 9-to-5 job. So, having that flexibility and that option is very important to me because that allows me to buy and sell. And I love it. I love to buy and sell cards, but I'm not forced to flip a card. I want to. I want the ability to make money and to buy and to sell and everything else. But without being forced to, thankfully, I'm given the option to not have to worry as much. So, yeah, a little bit of a different episode today. I actually have some topics ready for us. Sports Card Radio is one of my favorite, I can't even say YouTube channels anymore or podcasts because they kind of unfortunately have stopped. They are a very interesting group dynamic to follow. I have been subscribed to their YouTube channel for about 2 years now, let's say, maybe a little bit longer actually. They did stop posting content, unfortunately. They do have a newsletter they still post every now and again, and the one they posted this afternoon at time of recording is worth a conversation. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. I'm not saying sports card radio is bad, they're the worst. I agree with some of what they said. I don't agree with everything, of course. You're not entitled to have to agree with everything I say or what they say. It's just an interesting thing to talk about as well. It's just us today. It's just you and I, unfortunately. Unfortunately, you're stuck with me. So, yeah, you're going off the deep end early. We're 3 minutes in. Basically, what this newsletter talks about is a couple different things. They really, if you don't follow Sports Card Radio, when they were making content online, they probably were the biggest Luka Doncic hater ever, which is fine. You know what? You don't like Luka. I get it. It is what it is. They hated this man. They really did. They called him Luka Doncic because like ball sack. Get it? That's the joke. Boom. Roasted. No, but like there's a lot of interesting things that they actually go through in this newsletter. The sports card market, and more specifically basketball, is, in my opinion, the best market in terms of like flipping and buying and selling sports cards. I think it truly is the best. In terms of volume, capabilities, outlook, I think it's better than football. I think it's better than baseball. You can't retire off of the cards that you were buying a couple years ago. Now, as someone who has some purview into pre-COVID timing and post-COVID timing, I can say the market today in 2025 is, in my opinion, pretty healthy. Now, I'm someone who does not buy into group breaks a ton. I'm not someone who buys into repacks ever. I very seldom use Whatnot. Whatnot is not really for me. When I have friends on there who were selling cards, and I got decent deals, I'd be happy, of course. But I'm not sitting on my phone, degenerately gambling into X, Y, and Z. I flip cards. I'm good at it. I enjoy it. The hobby of that point for me is the ability to flip cards and pay for things in my life. I'm not looking for my PSA 10 Giannis's to feed my midlife crisis. Thankfully, I'm past my midlife crisis because I plan to die now. That's the episode. No, but that got dark too quickly. I'm sorry. But yeah, they're just preaching on like how these long-term some people out here preaching like they're long-term investments like the Warren Buffett. Financial advice in sports cards is very dumb. If you follow someone who is distinctly telling you this is investment advice, you are stupid and you need help. Now, the way I choose to look at things is slightly different because we actually did an episode about this one of the times Kyle wasn't free, where I gave like my opinions and feedback on what to do in any market without naming specific players. Timing is everything. Be 2 cycles ahead of sports. It's better to sell 1 step early than 2 steps late. Hype outsells production. Like very, in my opinion, common high-level things to understand without like too much critical thinking. One of the players that I personally don't like who's not related to basketball here, but hey, whatever, I was having this conversation earlier today, Justin Fields. I don't like Justin Fields at all. I don't think he's a good NFL QB. I think he's an electric player, but he can't make the reads or the throws an NFL QB can. His cards still sell relatively well up to his skill level. And while I don't understand that, guess what? And we've had this conversation before. If I could get Justin Fields' card for relatively cheap right now, I would fucking buy it. And I don't like him. I actively say how much I don't like Justin Fields as a player. And anyone who's listened to this podcast for quite a while now knows that. But guess what? It doesn't matter what I think. I know that there's a larger fool because of the greater fool theory that someone's going to be out there buying that card. And if I'm looking at it from a business perspective or business, I know that someone else is going to pay more at some point in time in the near future, hypothetically to, let's just call it September 1st, because that's before the NFL season starts. Between now and this point in time, someone else will pay more for this card. I'm going to buy it because I'm going to pay less than what's selling for currently and probably get more than it's currently worth in a month or two at the National or Fanatics Fest or any other show. That's just the reality. That's just an example there. 2 cycles ahead, don't get caught holding the bag. Common base cards and even refractors and short prints that are not short print are brutal. But then again, I myself have been buying a good amount of kabooms in downtowns lately because I'm getting them with good margins and I'm moving them for better margins. I'm not flipping these cards 9 to 5, 365, but I'm doing well enough that like it is supplementing income for other things that are important to me. Follow that for investment advice. I'm just kidding. You missed the point. I take RuneScape Gold as payment. That's the joke. Give me RuneScape, old school RuneScape Gold, specifically, not RuneScape 3, old school RuneScape Gold, and we're fine. Anyway, yeah, this is not investing. This is degenerate gambling with a sports theme to it. And it's going to get worse, in my opinion. This is no longer a hobby for a lot of people online. Now, our industry is also very old, and older school as well. The amount of people online, primarily like Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or I guess Blue Sky in a way, hypothetically, is a very minute percentage of people who actively collect across the world, or even in the US, let's just say. The vast majority of people are not on social media buying and selling sports cards. They are going after 2010 Topps update because they're 10 cards away from completing their base set, or the Walmart Blue from that, and they really need an Eric Ibar, or they're going for the PSA 10 set. They're just waiting for a Trout to get under $5,000, $3,000, $2,000, whatever number, $500. It doesn't matter for this conversation. There are tons of people out there who we will never see, who have millions of dollars of cards locked away because their dad bought in 30 years ago, passed away, and their son just never bothered going through their cards. Like, there's insane collections you'll never see online because the people are either too old for social media, passed away before their kids or anyone knew any better, and those will end up going to a random show at some point in time, or unfortunately being destroyed in some way, shape, or form, either by damage or water or anything else. Like, the point I'm trying to get to is the vast majority of people are not online in any way, shape, or form collecting cards, and they are primarily lower end, quote unquote, lower end collections. Nothing wrong with it. There's obviously incredible nukes that you'll never see, millions of dollars, but whatever else I just talked about. But online, there's very little discourse around collecting. This is a flipper's game. It's a flipper's mentality. I'm a dirty flipper. I'm the F word, and not the one for Pride Month. Shout out Jaron Duran, the other F1 for flipper. Wow, we are off to a bad start here today. They go into price indexing based on, if you spend $1,000 across several investments, and I don't know what point in time, let's just say it's a year. S&P is up 13%, NASDAQ 16%, Bitcoin 52%, hell yeah. Gold, silver, and Nvidia, and they just then talk about investments, quote unquote, of notable NBA players. So they do Victor, LeBron James, Kobe, MJ, Zion, and John Morant, because they're harping on the people who bought way too much of or early on Zion and such. And Zion, I really actually nailed him not being worth the price years ago. And I can find receipts if needed of like 4 or 5 years ago getting into arguments online about Zion. Similar to Sports Car Radio, because they include a clip there as well a little bit later in the article. Me saying the same thing. Zion's overweight. He's fat. Availability is a major issue for him. The price point is not making sense for his level of play or his availability of play. Huge problem. So yeah, they talk about Victor, how your price would be down. If you put $1,000 in, it'd be worth $500 today. You're down 50%. Luka, they hate Luka. He's down approximately he's down a third, so 667. Giannis, who won a ring, is down. It does not say what Giannis is down. It looks like it's about 20%. Okay. I mean, yeah, there's a general downward trend here for a year, which that's what happens when you don't sell at the right time, because you could have sold really looking upwards like April. You would have probably still lost money with inflation and such, but I can't see what that exact April sale was. It's approximately $500. So you would have lost a little bit of money. Either way, the point is, timing's everything. Giannis did not make it to the NBA Finals, therefore, price went down. Kobe had a spike there. So, I mean, you could have taken this data report in a couple weeks ago and actually seen Kobe be up. He's down 16%. Now, these are always a little finicky with PSA 9s and 10s because the 96 chromes, as everyone obviously knows, could be green, could have perfect color, could have issues, could have other things. So this is not a fair one-to-one, to be fair. This 2200 sale could have been perfect coloring, and this $1,200 sale could have been green as the Hulk. So this one I would take with a little bit of salt, whatever. But yeah, Kobe generally is down year to year, at least on that card. MJ is up 14%. This is a PSA 8. Yeah, I mean, literally just a very gradual increase to the right. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with that. But a 14% growth, hypothetically, you're basically gaining up to the S&P 500, which makes sense. MJ is the best stock investment in sports cards for stock investments. It's not, but whatever. LeBron James, about 6%, so he's actually up. This is a Topps Chrome PSA 10. They were about 42.50, it looks like. about 43 to 4,400 right now, with some slight variation, but it is very gradually going up to the right. Now, some obviously had other outliers. 1 of 5,000, 1 of 5,000 there. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe there were NBA diamond golds or whatever. But yeah, some sold better than others. Some maybe, private sale or eBay Obo. It's one just had to have it, whatever else. But, that's fine. This is them mocking Zion, whatever. Zion is so interesting to me. A PSA 10 Zion Williamson base prism is first off popped 23,133 using their screenshot. It is under $20. It is under $20. The cost of grading this card is about $20. Maybe it's 18, maybe it's 16, depending on where you go. Other deals, whatever. It's as bad as it could reasonably be. And I fucking hate Zion. It would be funny if it was not sad. I don't know what the Zion Williams peaked at for base prism. I think they got up to like $700 or so at their peak. I'm just curious, so I just want to quickly see what they actually peaked at. That's a silver. That's not what I want. Can I see the graph? The all-time graph for Zion. They got as high as 960, December 26th, 2020. These were almost $1,000. They're $20 today. Absolutely fucking ludicrous. And they started at, let's say the market basically settled around $500 to $600. And they gradually went down and down and down. Because there's the first cluster here is more relevant for what we're talking about in terms of like what they started at. This was $1,000. It's under 20. What are the silvers at? If a silver did 191 here, what did these peak at? Because I don't actually know. These peaked. Holy fucking shit. 63.50. December 24th. Maybe that's when he debuted roughly. When was Zion's debut? I know he was out to start his rookie year, and then he came back and like shot a bunch of threes his first game, and then like whatever else. But let me just check. Okay, so January 2020. So it was a little bit before his debut. I guess he was like ramping up or like whatever else because they were already playing games around Christmas time. 63.50 down to $200 5 years later. Absolute masterclass in fumbling the bag across the board for Zion and the people who bought in, obviously. That is sickening, and I do actually feel a little bad in a way. Ja is so interesting for me because he is his own worst enemy, it seems, in a way, because he keeps on like just continuing to make himself look like a dumb shit, and that's whatever. That's his choice too. But I don't feel bad for Ja Morant people because I just don't. Zion, I do a little bit. Ja, just head case. Just a head case. I don't know. I mentioned Halbert, SGA. If you bought them, you're up. You're such a guru, but you probably made mistakes other places. That's fair. People are not going to post their successes, or people are not going to post their failures. They're going to post their successes. One meme joke about me. You know who I lost money on in the 10 years I've been flipping sports cards a good amount? Josh Rosen. Wow. I lost like $1,500 on Josh Rosen, which is not a small amount of money. But when you think about like the decade of doing this, that's pretty good. Now I'm gonna lose money on Blaze Alexander because I bought a super fractor for $1,300. Whatever, I'll lose between 900 and $700 on that card, and that's a pretty bad loss for someone like me in terms of like percentages. But like in a decade of doing this, I genuinely cannot think of major losses. Now, short-term gains and losses happen all the time. That's just the reality of the situation. But I generally do pretty well. And that's not tooting my own horn. It's not anything like that. It's just, the nature of it. Did I sell too early on cards I bought in 2019 that could have exploded in 2021? No shit. Did you know about a global pandemic? You did. Wait, what? Come over here. We got to talk a little bit more. We're gonna turn the camera off for a couple minutes here. We're gonna have a conversation. Did you know? Anyway, yeah. The bottom line here is, their bottom line is they hate what the sports card market has become. I don't necessarily disagree. It's an industry. I get it. I don't really disagree with much of what they're saying, especially on modern cards. But hey, that is what it is. Let's move on. We can talk about Speedy for a minute or two here. It's growing. It's something I'm truly passionate about and continue to do. I launched a Discord for it just for support and connecting with people who are on the platform. I love it. It's great. It's very small right now. It's going to take a lot of time for this thing to become profitable, but hey, I work in marketing. I have a background in marketing. This is my magnum opus in terms of like things I've done. We'll see where it goes. A lot of new features coming as well, which is exciting. Onward and upward to the next thing. This is from Gem Rate. This is the amount of items graded. Now, this is why, from a business perspective, I don't see the sports card market slowing down. Now, junk wax era was a thing in the 90s, a little bit before my time. I was born in 96, so I wasn't really into sports cards when I was 2. I'm sorry, my first pack I opened when I was 18. My bad. I didn't grow up around this. But the amount of junk slabs here is horrifying in a way. CGC being the second grader overall for cards, or items, I should say, in 2025 is crazy. Does this include sports cards specifically? This is sports card miscellaneous. So CGC, apologies, 177,000 items graded. That's a 474% increase month over month and 631% year over year. They are legitimate players in the industry for cheap cards. If I ever received an expensive item, let's call it an expensive item over $500, we can call it $1,000, doesn't matter, and it was in a CGC 10 slab, I would immediately think there's a problem with it. It's either min size, it's altered, it's trimmed. There's no reason an expensive card should be in a CGC slab, in my opinion. Same thing with Arena Club. Same thing with SGC, except for vintage, but like whatever. Like, I don't think CGC is ever going to be there for expensive cards. And I prefer SGC for cheaper cards. Therefore, I will never grade with CGC because I personally don't see a way for it to move forward. I don't know how they're doing well. I'm happy they are. More competition is good because guess what? PSA owns SGC. Therefore, they are number 1 and number 3 here. It's McDonald's and Wendy's merged together. CGC is Burger King. Beckett is dead. Beckett is fucking just dead in the water. No, but seriously, this is crazy. And Beckett actually had a month-over-month increase too of 28%, but a negative of 16. I don't get it. They clearly don't care anymore. Beckett is going to basically fall off the cliff. They are in third for TCG and non-sport, but CGC is at 393,000. and CGC is at nearly 400,000. SGC is losing that market, obviously. Like, people are going from sending their cards to SGC for TCG stuff into SGC. Maybe it's a little bit cheaper, or PSA, obviously, because they're the king right now. It's actually kind of depressing how stagnant Becca has been. SGC is at least trending up to the right. I mean, I can't necessarily say when they got acquired by PSA, but like, it makes sense for them to have more growth. CGC, I don't care for at all. I'm happy they're doing well, but like, that's also because there's a lot of junk slabs that are getting graded, or junk cards. Apologies. They're getting graded, not viable ones. If you could break this down by value, Beckett would probably still be third. SGC would probably be second. PSA would be well above number one. And CGC would be like, what the fuck are we doing here? My Raider Club had more graded cards that are worth value. X amount. Anything else worth gleaming here? Beckett's grading more football. That makes sense. People are prepping for the football season. Hype to sell. Basketball, okay. Yeah, really not a ton of other high-level data that I care for there. It's interesting. I enjoy this stuff. This is what I do for a living in a way. All this data reporting is fascinating to me. Let's move on. This is crazy. So this is a card shop in San Antonio that was raided for items regarding, dispute between the owner and a customer there. And I read this beforehand because this is obviously crazy. This was Legends Only Sports Cards and Collectibles. They have an Instagram page. I think it's on the next slide. I'll show it in a second. The owner and a customer, the customer filed a $200,000 lawsuit against the owner, claiming stolen property. They had an understanding last year when the customer was looking for Victor Wembanyama cards. After he was selected in the draft by the Spurs, they struck a deal where the owner of the shop took some of the person's inventory, included sports cards and watches, and he would sell them at a Dallas card show in March of 2024. That seems fitting for items to go missing is a Dallas card show. The owner then claimed that nothing had sold, but the customer never got his items back. So they seized $200,000 worth of assets. So that's interesting. Yeah, this is fucking crazy. And when you go to their Instagram page, this is 3 days ago, so like, I think they got ahead of an apology, and they hope people would maybe not suspect things, because this came out on Friday. When did this come out? May 30th. This is the 3rd, so this is likely in relation to what happened. But yeah, turning off all comments. They're still posting on Instagram too, which is crazy. Like, they're buying retail boxes and they're on Whatnot and shit. I guarantee if you went to that Whatnot and asked questions, you would be immediately banned. Yeah, this is obviously a major shop with 50,000 followers. It's really kind of weird. I don't know. Go figure. I don't know. I saw this when I was prepping for the episode. I followed the account. I was like, damn, that's fucking interesting. Moving on, let's go through some Lameem James stuff. The argument or conversation around PC, this is a PC for life card, a PC card, I need it for a better deal, is one of those things that just really kind of irks me. And I even wrote a comment here. If you need it bad enough, you'll pay up, is Hall of Fame clamps. The joke is that LeBron James is very unguardable. But them clamps is you'll pay more if you truly need it. it's a fun conversation. I don't really PC a ton of stuff, especially in sports cards. I have no PC. I used to go after a lot of game worn logo patches and stuff, but then I realized, why not just buy the jersey? And that's it. That is the thought process. Now I have a bunch of game worn jerseys on my wall over there. I'll take a picture of it and I'll add it in. Hopefully I can get a decent one without too much glare. On the wall right now is Kenny Britt, Robert Woods, Mohamed Sanu, Ray Rice, lol, Jerickson Profar, lol, at least it displays well, and Logan Ryan. So that is 4 Rutgers players. Robert Woods, who's one of my favorite fantasy football players of all time, and Jerickson Profar, which is a sick-looking jersey, but he loves steroids. Breaking news into the podcast for that one. And in the closet behind me over there is some more Kenny Britt jerseys. I have 3 gamers of him. Leonte Carew, more Robert Woods, Malik Collins, who's a D tackle for the Cowboys, or was, Jared Cook, Ubaldo Jimenez, which is sick. I have a Rockies Ubaldo game worn jersey, which is awesome. Giancarlo Stanton, and I think that's it. There might be one. Oh, Mark Ingram, game worn Pro Bowl jersey, signed and inscribed to Patrick Peterson. And I think that's all the game worn jerseys I have. Yeah, I think that's all the ones I have. And guess what? Those were all cheaper than some game worn patches I bought in the past. Therefore, fuck that. I want a whole game worn jersey. It is much cooler to display, and it's just more fun. It's more fun to me. My PC for life is Rutgers players. You find a Brian Leonard game worn jersey, you can fucking name your price on that one, and I will buy it. I spent years looking for Ray Rice, and I'm very happy I own that game worn jersey. Brian Leonard is the North Star of my stupid ass collection, and it will never happen because he played 3 years in the NFL, maybe 5. How long did Brian Leonard play for? He was on the Rams and the Bengals. Leonard played, he played 8 years. Oh, I didn't realize he played on the, that would make sense. He played for the Bucs because of Greg Schiano, who was his coach. And then he played 1 game for the Saints. I didn't know that one. I really thought Leonard only played, 5 years. He's got 8 years of play from 2007 to 2014. Basically 7. There's got to be a game worn jersey out there somewhere. He only started 9 games. He never had a touchdown. No, he had 1 receiving touchdown. I'm sorry. I'm on his football reference page. So we are deep in the stupidity pile today, guys. Because we're talking about my PC. Yeah, fullback from Rutgers. This is like peak when I was watching college football. Definitely want one of these. I wanted the Giants to draft him so badly. They took Steve Smith instead. So that worked out well. Dude was awesome. But, yeah, I need a game worn jersey. I'd pay any price for that. And any of those like early Rutgers guys, Taekwon Underwood, Mike Teal would be a fucking pull. You guys have never heard of Mike Teal. You've heard of Taekwon Underwood. I'm sure if you're a Patriots fan, but this guy never even played in the NFL. He was like a preseason QB for the Seahawks. Yeah, you're not finding a Mike Teal game worn jersey anywhere. I think he's coaching still. This guy. I guess not. He was a coach for a while. But this is like some early Rutgers memories for me. So, Taekwon Underwood you would know of because of the fact he was cut from the Patriots before the Super Bowl. That is the only reason why people would ever hear of him. He was not bad by any stretch, but he was cut by the Patriots and then went to the Bucks. It was fine. Yeah. I'm pretty sure this is the right guy. Yeah, that's why you would have heard of him. Who else would be a fun one that I don't have? I don't know, but my stupid PC is stuff that has no value, relative value anyway. So, yeah. It's very funny that's the next meme we'll get to. Spoiler. Yeah, using the PC, using it for my PC for a cheaper price doesn't work on me. Because if you have some stupid shit that I need in a Game or Jersey department, we're having a conversation. You're getting more than you should. That's fine. This one's funny. This was also from the meme. It was Mary Gamble making a post about how you should sell her cards at 80% comps, and that's like female empowerment or something. And then AI generated sports card collector 111121 on the right, asking for 80% comps, and people memeing him. How do I go through this conversation? I think she knew what she was doing. I've never had a conversation with her. I think she is very intelligent in terms of the fact of like knowing how to get publicity, because how do I say this? I'm trying to think. There's the right way to say this and there's the funny way to say this. Without Kai here, I'm going to choose my words a little more carefully. I think she's smart for how she did this, because it was very clear what her intention was, which was to market herself. Any publicity is good publicity. This was a good example of it, because even if people clowned the shit out of her, it got people talking about her. I'm guilty of it because I'm talking about her. And this is posted 3 days ago. That is forever in terms of social media. Would I sell her cards at 8% comps? No. I actually kind of feel bad for her in some way. I imagine her DMs are the most thirsty place ever from a bunch of fat old men who are like trying to get in there. And that's one thing about women in terms of anything online I feel bad for. Have you talked to men? We suck. Can you imagine them thirsting over you? Sounds awful. No, thank you. So she clearly knows what she's doing here. I don't think she expected to get a single card sold to her at 8% comps from anyone who is a normal human being with a functioning brain. And I guarantee her DMs are the most toxic place in the entire world. And I would not welcome that. Yeah, that's kind of everything I had today. A little more mild-mannered other than some stupid shit I said, which is about 85% of what I do. You should sell me cards at 85% comps. I'll make the meme. I don't know. Listen, that's what I got for today. I'm going to try and get a guest on for next week. Kai kind of told me that he was going to be out, but then I forgot. Didn't pay attention. Didn't care until it mattered, which is the typical response for me. So I will try to get a host, better host, any host for next time. Because without parental consent, you get this. Do you like this? You probably don't. Next week, something else. See you guys then.